fishing man out on the lake. All you need is a line and a pole that'll never break.
Hey there, Rednecks Preppies, Redneck Preppies. It's me, the Redneck Preppy. How you doing today? Great? Good. So back in November 2016, I made a short video about how I maintain my fishing equipment, be it lures, rods, reels, whatever else I drag out at the end of the season. It struck me recently that I kind of glossed over the ins and outs of reel maintenance, so I figured I'd make a quick video. Besides, the winter's long and we all need projects to keep us busy until the soft water returns, at least for people like me in Northern Ontario. And maintaining your fishing equipment is a nice way to spend a few hours, although it is torturous because it does remind you how long until you can fish again. Anyway, today I'm going to cover spinning reels. Down the road, I'm going to cover bait caster reels in a separate video. What I'm going to do today is what I would refer to as a field strip and clean if we were talking about rifles. I know there are some people who go absolutely soup to nuts stripping a reel down to individual parts to clean and lubricate. I don't really think that's necessary unless your reel spent time submerged in silt or mud, but your mileage and desires may vary. At any rate, let us begin. First, the equipment we're going to need, and it's not an exhaustive list, you are going to need some reel oil and grease. Brand is not important. I know some people get religious on brands in the fishing world. They all work the same. You are going to need a rag to clean. You're going to need yourself a screwdriver. And this is optional, but I actually like using these makeup cotton swabs. You've got a broadside, good for cleaning and applying oil and grease in large areas. And you got yourself a little tippy end here, which is good for nooks and crannies. Anyway, now that we can begin. The first step, and I will assume that you've already removed the reel from the rod itself, is to unscrew the reel spool from the reel body. Most reels, to do so, you just unscrew this cap. I believe this one goes this way. Which this also, of course, serves as your drag adjustment. Remove the spool. Well, we'll get there eventually. There we go. Remove the spool. Take a look inside for any old lubricant or dirt. If there is, just wipe it out. You can always use some isopropyl alcohol to assist you if you like. Now, turning our attention to the reel itself, we can see that the axle that the spool rides on, you can just give that a quick wipe to remove any old lubricant or dirt, and then put some grease on. Now, you don't have to ladle it on as if you were using gravy to cover up the taste of a bad ham. A little goes a long way. You don't want to put too much because it could gum up, if dirt gets in here. There you go. That's all you really need. Too much lubricant holds dirt. Now, next up is the bail. I typically run my fingers up and down the bail just to make sure there aren't any scratch or ding up sections. Remember, your line comes into contact with this, so if you have something like a burr on it, you could damage your line, and we all know what happens when you fished with a damaged line. Never ends up good. Now, turning our attention to the arms where the bail is attached to, I use a little bit of oil on both, right where they join up here. Yoink and yoink. And I just work them to get that oil inside there. Again, you don't have to go nuts. And once you're done, you just wipe up any oil that's still sitting where you applied it. Now, as for the line roller, and yes, that is what it's called. I just use the pointy end of one of these swabs, and I give it a little bit of a wipe to make sure there's no dirt or detritus in there. Done. Now here's where the screwdriver comes into place. Just go around, make sure all the screws are tight. You don't have to go He-Man on them. Just if they're already tight, then just leave them alone. If they're loose, firm them up a bit. There's screws all over the body. I'm not going to bother with every single one of them. Just give them a quick check, make sure everything is good. Hey, we're almost done. There is now one last area to take care of, and that is the reel handle itself. So I typically remove the handle and then apply a touch of grease to the channel that it sits in. Goodness. There we are. and I either apply grease in the channel that it sits in, or if it's one of these where it goes through and then a screw joins up to the other end, then I'll just put some grease on here. Again, you don't have to go nuts, just a little bit. And then you can replace it. Yoink. We'll get it in there. There we are. And then you just screw this back in. So last things to do, give the reel body a little wipe down with your rag. Make sure you're removing any dirt that may have accumulated there from this year. Obviously check your line to see if it needs replacing. This is brand new line, so I'm not too worried about that. And I take the opportunity, if I haven't done so already, to just back the drag off. It's something you really have to do with a spinning reel, but I do it at the end of every season. And then, of course, I forget to adjust it back upwards and flail around like an idiot when I'm trying to catch the first fish of the season with that reel. So yes, obviously make sure you adjust it back in the spring. At any rate, friends, that's it. I won't cover what to do with the fishing rods themselves because I kind of addressed that in the original video. There is a link in the description below if you haven't seen that video already. Now, is what I showed you important? Well, plenty of people have never cleaned or lubricated their reels each year and have lived happy and fulfilling lives. So it's probably not a matter of life or death. I guess for me, it's a way of putting a capper on a season and perhaps, mentally reliving some of those trips I took. And then again, an ounce of prevention, right? At any rate, I hope you enjoyed today's video and I hope you found it vaguely informative. As always, I hope you have yourself a great day and may all of your lines be tight, or at least they will be the next time you can go fishing if you live somewhere where it's really cold. Take care and bye-bye.